gentlemen, the President of the Church of Scientology International, the Reverend Dr. Heber Jenztsch.
It all began with this. Here is a true conspiracy for planet Earth. A book.
A good opportunity to spend the full hour tonight talking about and learning about Scientology. We're going to start off right at square one, okay? And we'll let it build as it goes along. Scientology, how do you describe it to someone that knows nothing about it?
It's always that problem to bring it down, Dennis, into 15 million words into something simplistic. But Scientology is a study of knowledge. It is a study of wisdom. It is not a practice per se. It's an activity. And in terms of what it does, it comes from two words: skio, knowing, ology, the study of knowing. It's a study of wisdom in its most basic sense. I know when I studied philosophy at college, one of the interesting things was, well, what is philosophy? And a good definition, I think, in the American Heritage Dictionary is a study of the underlying causes of reality.
Let me ask you this question, Reverend. Why is Scientology so controversial?
Controversial? Yes, it's controversial. Why is it controversial? Just so that you and I could have this conversation. First of all, Scientology believes that man is a spiritual being, that man is basically good. But we have a particular philosophy which opposes this psychiatric concept that man is an animal, that man cannot really survive in any other way than being an animal, and that man should adjust to his environment. This is a concept of two ideas clashing, and the idea being that we believe that man can change his environment. We have expressed ourselves that way for 35 years. In fact, we did it first in this book, Dianetics, the Modern Science of Mental Health. It was a book which we have used for years and years and years and continue to use. It's a bestseller. That book says man can change his conditions.
Well, certainly we're all familiar with the Nazi death camps that existed during World War II, but are there death camps in the world today? Well, according to the Church of Scientology, yes, there are. They are psychiatric death camps located in South Africa and primarily used to exploit black people. With us this morning is the president of the Church of Scientology. His name is Heber Jenztsch. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is something that I had certainly never heard about before, and I read 3 newspapers a day, magazines, etc. Is this something new?
We knew at that time that it had been in existence about 10 years, and this is an interesting kind of concept because these camps had about, as we knew at that time, 10,000 blacks. The death rate is extremely high, so they're constantly being filled up again. But the problem was that they were being rented out to private industry.
Are these people truly mentally ill, or is this just an excuse to imprison black people and have slave labor?
I think it's the latter. I think it's the latter because actually, the American Psychiatric Association did a report in 1979. They didn't seem to think it was, they thought it was a little bad for the living conditions and so forth, but they certainly didn't want to abolish it. That's what's really fascinating.
Let me play devil's advocate for a moment.
You don't look like the devil.
That's why I can play.
For example, you attack transcendental meditation.
Well, I'm not attacking them. I'm trying to expose the truth.
You expose the truth of what you feel is Scientology. Now, Heber Jenztsch, who is the president of Scientology, looks at some of the debriefing processes that are going on in terms of some of the members of the church where they try to break down the beliefs that have been instilled in the individuals in the church. And Heber Jenztsch has this response to that particular activity.
What you are seeing here is the exemplification of a particular psychiatric philosophy, psychiatric terrorism. It was well defined by one of the founders of the World Federation of Mental Health, now deceased, but his name was Brock Chisholm, and he published his concept of psychiatry. He said, "The aim of psychiatry is the complete eradication of the concepts of right and wrong." What you are seeing here is the exemplification of that philosophy in application. Who are the other people who are promoting this concept of destroying religion in America or internationally? These people are named Dr. Louis Jolin West, UCLA University, well documented in his assault on religion. Dr. Margaret Singer from San Francisco, well documented in her assaults on religion in this particular philosophy. Dr. John Clark of Boston. Dr. Richard Delgado, again from UCLA, in that particular area. The idea being to destroy religion, to make it impossible for a person to change his mind or for a person to accept a religious philosophy.
At the other end of our live minicam now is Heber Jenztsch, who is president of the Church of Scientology International. He is at the group's world headquarters in Hollywood. Mr. Jentsch, you have long had conflicts with the Internal Revenue Service and with other government agencies. Is it totally improper for a government agency to accept information from within any church organization?
I think it's totally improper, Jess, to have a government plant individuals in churches to try to create a conflict, to destroy the constitutional rights of those churches.
You may not like our religion. You may try to castigate it. You may try to denigrate it. You may try to bring down the image of Mr. Hubbard, but you cannot change what has happened in the hearts and minds of every single Scientologist who has had benefit from this man and what he's done.
That's going to sound to some as if you're fanning the fires.
If I have to fan the fires of the United States to give enough illumination for people to read the Constitution and see what their rights are under the First Amendment, then, by golly, let's light some more fires. I think we're igniting the spark here. The prairie fire is yet to come.